So what I'm going to do, I've just muted everybody. I want to thank everybody for joining me, and I've got a couple of the team from Sharp on here as well. Um, and what I'll do is I'll ask everybody to hold your questions to the end. It's probably the easiest way. So if there are questions, we'll definitely take questions at the end. My name's Mike Murphy. I'm the Director of Sales at Sharp Canada, and I have on with me multiple people. I think 3 or 4 of us from Sharp. But I've got Manny Cardoso on here as well, and Manny's the resident technical expert. So if you guys want to talk tech and it'll quickly get above my pay grade, Manny's there to help out. So again, good morning, everybody. I appreciate everyone making time, especially under such unique times we're all living in. I think that if many people are like I am right now, I'm plugged in at home. I think there'll be more than a few people plugged in at home based on how things are going right now, and that's part of the opportunity I think that's at hand right now. There's been a general trend in over how long towards this cloud-based video conferencing. We've heard about Teams, Teams licenses going through the roof, Zoom licenses going through the roof, slowly but surely, and this general trend toward a more mobile workforce. The home office has been on the uptick. More and more corporations have had official policies on that, and there's no doubt that in the last 30 days, it's put that trend on light speed, and it's created a lot of change. We're in a moment of change in our world, and definitely in the technology industry, and it's an opportunity, right? With change comes opportunity, and so that trend on the acceleration is obviously going to allow for a different experience at home and at work. And the projections that were out there already for the office of the future was toward more of a mobile workforce, and where the way people work today, for the most part, if you go in the office, that's where you go in and you work, and then you go home and you play. And the office of the future is much more. People likely could be working remotely, but when they come into the office will be where you come to meet, and you come to collaborate and get together. And so if that's once or twice a week when you have different meetings, that's generally where the trend of the office had been going. And there's a number of stats out there that shows that if you look at 10 years ago, the square foot per person in the office was X amount, and now what it is now and what it's projected to be 3 to 5 years from now. And I would say it's going to be accelerated, where people are going to have less and less dedicated space in the office and more flex space, more and more meeting space, whether that's huddle spaces, whether it's meeting rooms, whether it's just casual places to sit down and talk and collaborate. Once we get back to the new normal, I think we'll see that the office is going to change. Once people have been working from home, they're not going to all of a sudden say, okay, everybody, all those laptops we just bought, everybody bring them all back in and work at your desk from now on. I think there'll be an accelerated moment of change. And so the opportunity is that we can provide that experience for our customers in terms of being able to connect into the office. And then once they get back into the office, have that same experience in the office in terms of video conferencing and collaboration. I was talking to one of my colleagues the other day, and she said something that kind of stuck with me. She just mentioned the word pre-COVID. And I think, we'll probably have that moment in all our careers. We'll look back and go, oh, this is how we did it pre-COVID, and this is how we do it post-COVID. And that might apply to everything in our lives, not just in business, but we're definitely in COVID right now. And it'll be interesting to see what happens post-COVID and how how our customers want to work, and how we can provide solutions for them. So I welcome you guys. I thank you. I hope everybody's feeling okay and safe and healthy. And once again, I'll ask you guys to hold your questions to the end, and I'll share with you some slides here. Just 1 second. I just got a note here. Some people are in the waiting room still, so let me just take a look here. I'm just reading to see what these notes are. So I want to make sure that I didn't lock them out if we started too early on them. Just 1 second here. I guess I got to keep admitting people. This is a new format for me on Zoom doing a webinar. So it looks like we've got some new users. Morning, everybody. If you just joined on, we are about 2 or 3 minutes into the webinar. Just getting started though from a slide deck perspective. So welcome, and hold your questions till the end. Again, I'm just gonna keep admitting people as they come in here a little bit late. I apologize. It keeps popping up on me. So my name's Mike Murphy. I'm the Director of Sales for Sharp Canada. And you know, we brought everybody together today specifically to talk about one product, and it's a product called the Windows Collaboration Display. And that's a product we launched around Christmas time. We started talking about it last year at InfoComm. And at Christmas time, we shipped the first units, and it's been incredibly successful for us. And what makes it different is that it's, first of all, it's the only product in the market approved by Microsoft outside of its own Microsoft Surface Hub. And so that says a lot, especially at this moment in time where Microsoft has really been driving a lot of what the collaboration footprint in the standard looks like. But what also makes it unique is that it's not only approved by Microsoft, it works in for every other Windows cloud-based video conferencing options out there. So it's an open architecture. So it's a product that's really easy to use. It's got a high standard in terms of audio and video technology, switching technology. And it's something where your users will be really, find it really simple to use. So I'll walk you through what that means. Again, as I do this, I keep admitting the people to come in, and I got to mute everybody. Hey, good morning, everybody. Just getting started. So the collaboration display, you know, the Windows collaboration display would fall within one of our 3 categories. These are basically the 3 categories of product that Sharp has. And it's the one on the right where it says, obviously, we have a collaboration display family, and it's one of the products in that family. But I just wanted to give you a sense of kind of, you know, the fact that we have much more, of course, than just this product. And so we've got everything from what we call our Aquos product. And that's essentially our commercial light family, where we supply lots of those to people that just need something, you know, for a meeting room, boardroom, that don't have a lot of extra needs. Great family of product, everything from 43 up to 90 inch there. And interestingly, as of tomorrow, we're launching a brand new, we're switching over some of the sizes to a new family. They're called the PNUH family. We're going to be switching them over to a new product, a new family name called the 4TB family. So it'll be the 4TB60, 4TB70, 80, basically based on the size. So watch for some new news. There's some new stuff coming there, but that's for a different call, a different webinar. And of course, in the middle, that's our product, our integration product. That's a little more heavy in terms of spec, and it's got a lot more options. And we sell obviously quite a bit of that, especially in the AV channel. And of course, where we're talking about today is a family of product called the collaboration displays. But of course, it's one of the products within that family. And you know, collaboration is something that is kind of the buzzword, I think, right now in our industry, where, you know, it's all about basically bringing people together and sharing and cooperating, and I think that will become more difficult. Technically, it should be more difficult as we have some people not in the office. And I think that where Microsoft's driving, they probably timed it perfect for launching Teams last year in the way that they did, to be able to connect the office to the home and allow for that collaboration to continue. And I'll share you a lot more on that later in the slide deck. I want to make sure that we probably give a little bit of history on who we are. You know, we're in our 9th generation of collaboration displays. Most of our competition are probably 1st or 2nd, maybe their 3rd generation. So we've been doing this category longer than anybody, and we do it pretty good. And I think that's probably why Microsoft selected Sharp as their global partner to bring a product to market that we can basically expand upon what their vision is in terms of having a collaborative experience in the meeting room. So within this family of collaboration displays, there's really 3 categories, and you can see it's good, better, best. And of course, on the right, that's the one we're here to talk about, that product there. That's the Windows collaboration display. And depending on whether you have the, you know, the image, some people's images covering it up, you can see that it's got a camera that comes with the screen. It's and also on just beside that, that's not a second camera. That's a sensor hub. And so I'll share with you kind of what that means in terms of that whole category. And of course, we'll do a deep dive on the product. But we also have good and better. And I'll give you, I'll share with you a slide on each, the good series, the PNC, and a slide on P&L, the better category, before we dive into this one, just so you have some perspective on what we've got as a family. So the good category, the PNC category, this product, the family's been around for years, probably 5 years or so. And but we've just refreshed it in Q4 of calendar year last year. So we're about 90 days into the new product right now, and it's been well received. What changed with it? Basically, you know what, it's gone bigger. So what used to be a 60-inch, 70-inch, and 80-inch product is now 70, 75, and 86. So we decided the new models were going to get bigger. They're going to get better in terms of resolution. So it went from 2K to 4K. The touch points are anywhere between 10 and 20 point touch. This one uses a pretty standard touch technology, especially in a base technology, which is infrared touch. And depending on how familiar you are with that, but essentially, when you do touch the screen, it breaks a beam that's basically going horizontally and vertically, and it allows you to see what's happening. And this is usually the touch technology that's in most of ours, and in the market's kind of base level. Some of our competition, that might be the only option they have. And it's a good technology. It was something that maybe 4 or 5 years ago might have been a step behind some of the others. But at this point in time, it's very good. It's much better than it used to be, and it does very, very well from a user experience perspective. It's got wireless technology, but what makes this probably most different than its predecessor 90 days ago is the fact that it now has a built-in embedded controller. And it's actually an Android 6.0, and I differentiate the number there because we have another one with an Android controller in it as well. And so with the 6.0 controller inside, it basically allows for some PC-free browsing and some simple annotation. So if you've got users, and sometimes this might be like a great education product, but users that might want to be able to one touch into a browser, or one touch into a whiteboarding application without having a PC plugged in, you can do that. And so it allows for a greater experience without having to have a dedicated PC or somebody to come in and have a wired connection, laptop or something to come in, bring your own type of technology. So a nice base technology for our good category, and it's doing well. And again, we have that in 70-inch, 75-inch, and 86. We go from good to better. And this is the P&L series, and this one also has been around for a little while, and it refreshed just prior to the PNC series did. So it's still relatively new and fresh. And so we've also made this one bigger. It's 65, 75, and 85. It's 5 inches bigger from what it used to be. These ones are 20-point touch, 4K resolution. This one uses a cool new technology called in-glass touch. And in-glass touch is a hybrid between the infrared touch I was speaking about and also capacitive touch, something you might see on an iPad or your phone. And so it's a hybrid. It's basically, it does have an infrared beam inside the screen. It's a really nice upgraded technology from the infrared, but allows the price point to be more aggressive than you would if you put a full capacitive touch in. So really well received from our partners that have been using this one. Also, you know, advanced wireless technology, making it real easy to come in and plug and play with Miracast. And once again, this one has the Android controller built in as well. And this one's 7.0. And you know, the difference is important because once you get to that next generation of Android, it gets much more powerful. And one of the features that many of our users are asking for right now is to have the ability to one touch into meetings or one touch into programs. And this product has that. And so you can see based on the image on the screen, you know, if you wanted a one touch into PowerPoint or one touch into a browser, one touch into Teams or Zoom, you can just basically, you can see the icons that we've got on the bottom there. We've selected those. That's something the user can very easily basically just download from the Google Play Store and be able to put it on the screen. And so it basically makes a very simplified use that if your users say, look, we want you to go in and just have the ability to get on a browser, no problem. Anybody could walk in the room and be able to look at that screen and be able to activate that. And some of the desire for that is coming from a lot of different directions, not not unlike the way the Microsoft Surface Hub works, right? If you're familiar with that product, it's been incredibly successful for them. And they basically have 3 buttons on the front, one for whiteboarding, one for video conferencing, and one for files, get on the cloud. So, you know, this is actually probably just a little more elaborate, allows for a little more, but a very simplified way to get into your files and get into whiteboarding or whatever you decide you want to put as the hot button on the front of that screen. We also put down, you can see just above those buttons along the bottom, there's a calendar widget here. And so we downloaded the calendar widget, hooked up the screen to an Outlook calendar, and basically you can now one touch into a video call. And that's really where customers want to be able to, or users want to be able to have a simplified experience, so that if you come in, you basically click on your Zoom or your meeting, and it takes you right into Zoom or Teams or GoToMeeting or whatever the platform is for that call. So technically, if you would come in, it's 2 o'clock, it looks like here, depending on how big your screen, you can read that, you would click on that, it would open up the window where the link is that you would normally see inside your calendar, and you just click on the link and you're up and running. So a nice simple way to kind of, you know, quick touch into a conference, video conferencing. And this is our better category. So really good product using the advanced in-glass touch, and it's got the more powerful Android controller. And that brings us to the Windows collaboration display. So this product is what we call part of the PNCD group. It's called the PNCD 701 is the model name. But the category itself is called Windows Collaboration Display. And that's actually a term not invented or trademarked by Sharp, but trademarked by Microsoft. And so even the way that we have the capital W and small c and small d, all of that is all done by trademark, and it's Microsoft's term for a certain level of performance of a screen that will meet the plug and play standards of Microsoft, if I could overly simplify it. And we're proud, Sharp's proud to say we're the only ones in the market that have this spec of a product. We know there was some chatter out there that there was another manufacturer getting there, but they're not there yet. So at this moment in time, we're the only ones that have a Windows collaboration display achieved product. And what makes this product different is probably 3 different things. Number one, it's Microsoft approved, and I'll kind of share what that's wrapped around. It's easy to use, and I think that's centrally what the product's all about. And then it's got some advanced meeting technology, specifically geared around the sensor hub that comes with the product. And again, you can see that image on the screen there. It comes with the camera, 4K camera, and it's also got the sensor hub right there. And I'll walk you through the spec and some of the benefits and the features of the product. So the whole category of Windows collaboration display is, as mentioned, it was born and the brainchild of Microsoft. And I think Microsoft was trying to drive the world and businesses to a better standard of sophistication and a better standard of efficiency. And so really what began that change is the program Microsoft Teams. And we've been training on this product for about 6 months now. And originally I would usually ask in the group, how many people are using Microsoft Teams? And originally it might be 15%. As you know, maybe 3 months ago, we were probably more than 50% of the room. I would think after the month of March, most users are familiar with Microsoft Teams. And we know that the numbers have spiked if you see online in terms of licenses and not just for Microsoft, but for all the other platforms out there. And really, depending if you're in the more in the display technology AV world, when you speak of Microsoft Teams, most people are talking about the video conferencing portion of Microsoft Teams. But when you speak to somebody in the IT world, Microsoft Teams is actually much more than video conferencing. And it is actually born and raised, if you want to think of it that way, probably as a desktop application, of course, with a mobile, mobile phone type of interaction as well. But it was really designed that if you're like me, for the most part, I spent my career using Outlook or email as my quarterback spot where I start my day, organize myself, speak to other people, speak to one-on-one to people, speak one-to-many to people, and just keep track of my customers, keep track of my bids. Everything is done out of email for me. And I think that's based on the feedback. That's not too unusual. Most people start their day there, end their day there, and spend a lot of their day in email. And Microsoft had this vision that it wasn't as efficient as it could be. And there's other products, like Slack, that might have, they might have been nudging, this trend along quicker. But Microsoft has definitely made it mainstream. And so they created this desktop application, or again mobile, depending how you want to look at it, where home base won't be email. Home base will be the interface similar to what I've shown here, right? So you've got a number of different teams, and you have all your different teams conversations, and it allows for basically a really powerful ability to chat, a powerful ability to search, share files, SharePoint type of application, and also to talk to each other, and not just talk to each other from an audio perspective, talk to each other from a video perspective. And that allowed, and for people that have kind of moved over the Teams standard earliest, it's not unusual. And I can tell you, even in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've had more video calls one-on-one with people internally at Sharp and externally that I wouldn't have thought I would have had, at this point in time. And Microsoft's vision of how easily we can connect and how easily we can share and have all this information, cloud-based, had a weak link. And the weak link was the meeting room, the meeting room space. And so they wanted to make sure that once we got to the meeting room, it still had that same level of same standard of video and audio connection that they have now incorporated into every other aspect of how we talk to each other, whether it's in your computer or on your phone or on a tablet. And so I can only guess. I haven't been told by Microsoft this, but of course the Microsoft Surface Hub allowed for that weak link to be at the same standard as what everything else is on. It's all speaking and interacting on that same language and at that same level. And Microsoft Surface Hub has been incredibly successful for them. And I can only extrapolate out that the experience can be broadly expanded by having third-party relationships. So Microsoft started to have conversations with third parties, and once again, happy to say the Sharp is the first third-party partner that they have that's in this standard. So when it's Microsoft approved, really it wraps around a couple of things. Most specifically, Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft Teams, and Skype for Business. And those, those are really the three aspects, and also Microsoft Azure. But so those three, but really 4 aspects of Microsoft's business and Office suites are where the approvals all lie. And I was privileged to sit in some planning meetings last year and listen to basically Microsoft and Sharp engineers talk about where we were almost a year ago at InfoComm, and some of the planning sessions there. And it was incredible to me, the level of technical expertise needed to be able to meet the Microsoft Windows collaboration display spec. And so the fact that we've been able to do it has been years in the making, and really proud to say that we've got a pretty advanced technology to share with you. So what makes it easy to use? Well, first and foremost, Microsoft's been promoting, if you've seen online, they've done research and they say that it takes 12 minutes of every meeting to get set up. And it's funny, even just getting set up today, it took me a few minutes to kind of get used to what's happening. But of course, that's not, the normal plug-in. But how many times have you been in a meeting room where, someone gets in front of a training and they're trying to figure out how to connect in, and they're function F7s and trying to play with inputs, and for whatever reason, their laptop's not speaking properly to the screen, or they've got a dedicated PC that they can't get access to their files on the network. Microsoft had a vision, let's clean all this up and make it easy to connect in. And the experience of the Windows collaboration display is, first of all, because there's a sensor hub, when you walk in, it knows you're in the room and it immediately turns on. So makes life really easy, but also, of course, it will check off any green initiatives or power saving initiatives that your customers might be looking for. And then, so now that it's on, you've got one option to plug into, whether you are to connect into, with facial recognition. And so basically, if you've set up that feature and you've had your face set up in the system, and you book that meeting room, you would be able to walk in and have your face basically scanned by the screen, and immediately your files, your profile would pop up on the screen. So it saves the user the step of either on the desktop typing in their name and password to get it open, or doing it out the screen. You can type it in there. Immediately your files pop up, and you're up and running, no touch. The other advanced connection that makes it easy is a USB Type-C connection. And this will be the future of connections to display technology. And a USB Type-C is pretty advanced for basically, you can put multiple cables into one nice, powerful, slim USB cable. And what we would traditionally have, if you had a touch screen, you would probably need 3 cables. You would need something for the audio and video, which would be HDMI, probably most recently. You would have a USB cable for touch, and you'd have a power cable to power the laptop. Now with USB-C, you would have 1 cable. And so when the user comes in, you connect in, and audio and video and touch all over the one USB Type-C cable, and it also powers the laptop. So bonus that as the person's plugged in, they'll never have a situation where they're going to have a power issue. And so it's a nice, clean type of connection. We ship a 6-meter cable inside the box, so that your users will be able to easily plug it in. They'll have the right grade of cable to make life easy for that person that comes in to plug in a remote PC. We've got the beauty of the USB-C, while it has like a 3-in-1 type of technology, is really around the switching technology. And so when you come and plug that USB-C cable in, it will immediately plug and play and put that image on the screen. And what sounds simple, we all know is not necessarily the standard in the industry. And that is the standard with this product. So that if I come in, I plug in through a USB-C into my laptop, I immediately am on the screen. There's no looking for remotes, and there's no looking for inputs. There's no function F7s. It immediately pops up. So a nice, true plug and play experience for your customer. And then if someone comes in right after me and they plug into the second USB-C, no problem. They're plug and play. They would take over the screen from me. And so it's a nice, clean technology, and a very, very advanced switching technology that allows for easy to connect in, but also easy to allow for the audio and video from advanced switching technology. And thirdly, that's not on here, but has really made big strides, again, is a wireless connection. And which using Miracast, it's a very simple experience. And what used to be clunky and a little bit iffy is now standard, and it's easy. And we just did a coast-to-coast tour, through the fall and early winter, and we did the entire thing wirelessly when we were connected in. And essentially, if you've got a Windows 10 PC, you hit Windows key K, and on the right side of your screen, you'll see what any active screens are in the room. Sometimes you might see somebody's mobile phone, but you would see whatever you've named the screen. It could be called Sharp WCD. You just click on that. It'll immediately understand that it's a touch screen. It'll ask, would you like to initiate touch? You said hit OK. It takes somewhere around 5 seconds or so. The screen will immediately turn black, and it's kind of got this hovering icon or hovering light that kind of goes back and forth, and up and running within about 5 seconds or so. Sometimes quicker, sometimes maybe 7 seconds. But it's something that if you had wireless in the past, it was a little bit of a gamble. Those days seem to be done. It looks like, especially Windows 10, the Miracast connection technology is really, really strong. And so it makes life easy to come in and connect into this product as well. And so at that point, you would have fully interactive, the ability to share information back and forth, and you'd be able to interact at the screen, even though there's no wires connecting to the screen. So as we all begin to have our users work from home more and more often, they're now going to be more mobile based, right? And that means when they come into the office, they're going to want to plug in into the device with a remote device. So first and foremost, the good news is our product is open architecture, which means that you can come in and plug in a remote device into it. And it's optimized for having the ability to allow for that mobile user to come in and plug in. And I mean that in the way that that advanced switching technology that's inside the, that basically allows for the audio and video and the connection technology to easily connect back and forth is not inside a computer inside the screen. It's inside the screen itself. So that even if a user comes by with a remote laptop, and once they plug into that screen, they're still getting the Windows Collaboration Display Standard technology and experience because the technology is in the screen. And it's not something you have to load onto the PC, either dedicated to the screen or to any room PC that comes along. So it's really optimized for anybody to come and plug in, and as long as they're on a Windows 10 PC, they'll have the same standard that that you would have gotten if you were even if you were on the dedicated PC. Easy to use. You know, I spoke about the one-touch technology on the other screens, and of course that's possible on this screen. And that's an option that you can provide for your users. And we do it through through a partner called Quick Launch. It's a software package that you can add to the screen, and it allows for a customized, basically general user interface. And we've designed. It can be designed in a number of different ways. We've designed that. This is actually just a picture from our showroom. And we put basically 9 hot buttons that you can one touch into a browser. Again, whiteboarding, cloud, Zoom, Teams, whatever it might be. You can now one touch right into anything that the user wants to one touch. If somebody doesn't like working here, you can still, if you want, you can allow them to get into the desktop, or you can not allow them to get into the desktop. Wireless connection, get back to room, reset the room. So it gives you a nice one-touch experience into all the programs. These are the programs we chose. You can put any programs there that you want. Also, as mentioned, we have a calendar widget. So you basically can put have your meetings there. If it's on a dedicated PC that's dedicated to the screen, you could have its own Outlook account that you would be able to, if you want to call it marketing room or engineering room, whatever it may be. And when we want to have your meetings, you'd come in and literally one touch into that meeting. So very similar to the Microsoft Surface Hub experience. You can see we've got Skype and Teams, we purposely WebEx, you've got all the different Zoom. So we wanted to show that you can use any type of cloud conferencing or any type of conferencing solution with this product, and it's going to work. And again, nice and simple, one touch into your meeting. You've got it set up like this, depending on privacy, and you can see all the meetings, for the day, or you can have it set up so that only that next meeting at that moment in time is there, just in case there's some privacy needs there. You could have just one meeting sitting there, and you just come in and click on that button, and it'll take you directly into the meeting. Unlike the previous screen I showed you, this one doesn't bring you into the calendar in Outlook to hit the link. This automatically goes into the program, so a little more advanced experience. Also on here on the right side is we just put, that's a Sharp kind of mascot robot we have. It's called Robohan, and we decided just to put something playful there. That's all up to you and your users. If they want to put logos, or if they got their own kind of corporate message or corporate icons and things like that, this whole screen is very easily customized with the help of Sharp. We can help you guys customize it, as well as Quick Launch is happy to help as well. So this is an option that you can provide your customers if they want to have a one-touch experience for their users. I mentioned this, I think, already, but just in case, it's important to say, because this is different than most of the other products that are out there. We use an open architecture, and it's for an ease of use type of approach. So open architecture means a couple of different things from Sharp. One, the Windows Collaboration Display doesn't have a built-in PC. It's got a mini PC mounted to the back. So it gives your users flexibility to pick the PC they want to use to drive this screen. Depending on whether they use different software platforms, programs that I showed you, or different technologies, they may want to go higher or lower in the spec of the PC, and we can help you guys recommend the right product for that. So having that open architecture, it allows us to have a couple of different advantages. One, you can have a more powerful or more aggressively priced PC. You have the ability to remove that PC quite easily if you wanted to upgrade it or service it. It's very easy to do. You don't have to take the screen off the wall. Two, it's open architecture in terms of how we work from a software platform as it stands there right now. Even though this is optimized for Microsoft Teams and the Microsoft experience, it will work with all of your users' existing platforms that they're on now. So whether it's Zoom or WebEx or anything that's out there, GoToMeeting, BlueJean, this is going to work just as great. And once again, that advanced switching technology is inside the screen, so it doesn't matter what you're on, you're still getting that advanced experience. So we spoke about the fact that it's Microsoft approved. We spoke about the fact that it's easy to use. And there's some advanced meeting technology built into it as well. And that's really wrapped around the sensor hub. If you can kind of see it up above my shoulder there, that's the other aspect, or the other protrusion at the top that's not the camera. And this allows for the screen to understand what's happening in the room. And basically, you could have your users connect this into a control service that would allow it to connect into, whether it's an HVAC or automated lighting or automated drapes. And you'd be able to basically, based on what's happening in the room, adjust the situation in terms of the environment of the room. You know, for one example is that it's got a people counter, so that you can set it so that in this room, if there's more than 6 people, we want you to increase the microphones or increase the speakers so that it'll be a little easier to hear the user. You might want to have it adjust based on the number of the people in the room to adjust HVAC and turn the air conditioning or heating up or down, lighting up and down based on if it's a video call comes on, maybe adjust lighting to optimize for what's going on video. So something that I think you'll find will probably become the standard in the future. This is kind of the beginning of that intelligent display. And I differentiate, you know, when I was going across the country, I've told this story where we were asked to attend and speak at a architecture conference before Christmas. And it was really interesting to me. And this was architects that were coming together, and they wanted to hear, the conference was about intelligent buildings. And they differentiated between a smart building and an intelligent building. And the smart building is deemed basically when there are sensors in the building that allow for on-off. And so if you walk into a hallway, the lights come on. When you leave the hallway, they go off. Like I mentioned earlier on, we walk in the room, the Windows collaboration turns on, it turns off. That's considered a smart product, a smart application for that. An intelligent building is what's starting to happen now, and this product meets that definition. Is not only does it sense what's happening in the room, it understands what is happening in the room. And so this product, because it's more than just on off, it allows for eventually the ability to create metrics and analytics that your users can use to make decisions based on what's happening in that room. So that's something down the road. It's something that's not going to be offered right away, but down the road, this will be a device that can provide those type of analytics. And we're developing a software, in case you read online, I want to at least make sure you guys knew about it. It's called Synapse Workspaces, and that's something that's in the works right now. So from a product perspective, you know, this is what the back of it looks like. You know, before we get to the back, you can see on the top, as mentioned, there's a 4K camera. That basically comes in the box, it's included. And it just needs 2 mounting screws and a USB connection. You can see it's got basically a USB connection right below. And that 4K camera actually has a microphone array that allows for, allows for tracking of audio. So that if somebody's on the left side of the room and they start talking, it'll actually track over and optimize the audio on the microphone on the left side of the room. Of course, when someone on the other side of the room speaks, it's very flawless, and I've actually been on the phone with, I've been on a video call with users that have been using it, and it's amazing because I've been looking for it, and you can absolutely notice when the speaker's speaking, it begins to optimize their voice. And so a really cool tracking technology in terms of audio. It's got a standard 4K camera, 120-degree viewing angle, and while it doesn't have a tracking device, it's got a nice wide camera viewing angle for the product. I would say it's an advanced camera. If your customers want to go to something that might optimize for the room they're in, maybe a pan tilt zoom option, yeah, you can do that. You know, again, that just has 2 screws on the back, remove it and put something on there. The only thing I would recommend is that you go with a camera that is also Microsoft approved, so that you don't lose some of the quality of the experience on the camera side. But generally, you know, when we've shown the camera off, it's been well received, and unfortunately, I can't show you over webinar. But it's a well received, and it's got a great experience. Over here, as mentioned, this is the sensor hub. It also connects in down, and actually you see on this side, it actually comes down and connects in through USB here as well. That also ships in the box. And again, that'll keep track of everything from people counting to humidity to toxicity levels to lighting to a number of different things. Very, very advanced. And it's kind of future-proof for some of the different things that are going to be coming down the pipe from Sharp. And then it's got all the different connections you can imagine here. Important to point out, the mini PC. So again, it's not built in, but it's got a resting home there, a mounting space on the back that allows you to put in the PC of your choice. We've been recommending 2 different brands, mostly because we know them the best. One is a brand called Shuttle PC. We actually sell it on our price list, so that if you wanted to order that through us, we can make that easier, or if you have a direct relationship with them, that's fine too. But we have a certain spec. It's basically, we've been recommending an i7, 8 gig, and depending on whether you're using certain software package, a 16 gig option. We've also been recommending a Dell PC as well. Dell's got a little more aggressively priced, and it connects in nicely, and it's really it's a good option as well. So depending on what your customers are looking for, we can help guide you there. If not, I'm sure you guys have good expertise in terms of PCs. And so it's got multiple USB-C type C connections. So it allows for 2 different USB type C connections, 1 HDMI connection. Those would be the 3 wired connections in that you would have for this product. You've got the additional USB type A connections for if you wanted to put in different type of peripheral devices. You've got the ability to do that. You've got your rear-facing speakers, you know, basically your AC switch there as well. So a fairly simplified back. We've moved the handles to the back as opposed to having them on the side. We've been asked to do that based on design, so that they're not showing, you know, once they're on the wall. And we've had some customers take them off just because of aesthetics. But then, of course, if you want to move the room around, you don't have the handles there. So those are there to make your installer's life a little bit easier. And this is actually just it's actually an older image. We got a bit of a different image of what it looks like. But this would be a screenshot of what one of the home screens would look like if you wanted to find out what's happening in the room. So of course, you know, you could put a calendar type of widget on there. You've got, it tells you your city, your date, your time. Gives you, you know, you can put again a weather widget, but it has, you know, inside the room, it tells you different levels of toxicity levels and humidity levels and CO2 and all the different, and there's much more than that can be tracked. But just gives you a simple understanding of what that looks like. So that's that's the Windows collaboration display. I centered the conversation mostly around the hardware. I haven't spoken a ton about their software, because the software experience you get on Teams or Zoom will be exactly what you'll get here. So if you can share a document and edit it in that mode on your desktop and share it with somebody else, you'll do the exact same thing will happen when you use it on our screen. So and so essentially it's the exact same experience from the desktop onto the into the meeting room. So with that said, what I'll try to do is do it this way. Either if you want to, I'll unmute, or I think you can unmute yourself. I made it so you can unmute yourself. If you want to ask any questions right now, myself and Manny are available to answer. Maybe as you guys are doing that, I'll put Manny on the spot. Manny, anything you wanted to share? Anything I missed, or any additional discussion points?
It's an 8-meter cable, not a 6-meter cable, so it's a little bit longer.
Okay, good.
And usually what the camera from the WCD unit that picks up is usually plugged in that 8-meter cable. That radius of where the 8-meter lies is the most optimal radius of what the camera is on the WCD unit.
Great, thank you, Manny. Any questions out there?
Mike, it's Kevin here with Matrix. Just a quick question for you. I'd like to know, is there a couple of recommended PTC cameras for the solution? I know you said anything that was Microsoft, but maybe you have some that you know have worked exceptionally well.
Manny, any thoughts on that?
I believe Zoom, and I forgot the other, Logitech, and I forgot the other Microsoft certified cameras that are out there. It was
Is it Hudley?
Hudley, Logitech, and it started with a Y. I forgot what it was.
But we definitely know the Logitech ones are certified. Any other questions?
It's Al McQueen from Electronic Presentation Group. Can you hear me okay?
I can, Al. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Mike. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good. I'm just doing a refresh on my website, and I wondered if there are any Sharp images or brochures on a repository anywhere that I can access.
I wouldn't say there's a repository, but we can send some stuff to you. I'll ask, I know that Kate Coulter's on here, our marketing assistant product manager. I'll ask Kate to follow up with
Okay, because I'm just looking for some images. I can pretty well kind of get the data I need. But the other question I had, we're starting to get a lot of calls for hospital touchscreens. And is Sharp considering doing anything where we can actually wipe them down with disinfectant and things like that?
That's been the question of the last 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
we sent the official answer out. Manny, I know Sunjun, you're on here as well. Maybe Sunjun, do you want to answer that? Sunjun's our senior product manager for display at Sharp. I know you were on there, son.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for the question. We do have a guideline. You can apply the isopropyl or ethanol on the surface of the screen. So that's the two disinfectants that you can directly apply to the screens. But we don't recommend the substance because it may cause a damage on the screen of the films or on the surface of the WCD or other touch screens. However,
are we talking damage to the actual covering on the LCD?
If it is for the touch screen, there is the anti-glare, the fingerprint, the film attached on the screen. So it may cause a damage on those coatings. So we will send out the specific guideline for you. We prepare for you.
Because I think, there is a requirement out there for that kind of thing. My daughter works as a speech pathologist in Toronto Rehab, and, they're looking at some programs down there, but nobody seems to have a good monitor other than, I think, was it ELO? And, they're fairly pricey, but there could be a good market for that at this point in time.
That's been a conversation internally. I know there's a company called Whoosh that's that can clean screens, but unfortunately that's not a disinfectant in terms of a viral clean.
No.
But those chemicals that are approved, that Sun mentioned, and again, I'm not a chemist, so I didn't even remember it. Maybe I'll get you to repeat it again, Sun. And I guess the recommended application is not to spray it on the screen, but to spray it on a cloth and then wipe the screen with the cloth.
And you can't always
microfiber.
Yeah.
Because if you spray directly onto the screen, it may smears in and causing an additional damage on the screen.
Yeah.
So we recommend to wipe it with soap with the chemicals that we mentioned.
Yeah, I can see that. That's not going to be a good solution, mainly because, you got the janitorial system cleaning them and they don't know what they're doing sometimes. So,
right.
Okay.
Just for everybody's benefit, we've got a marketing piece that's going to be going out in the next couple of weeks that will talk to it in the proper way to do that. So watch our LinkedIn in the next little while, and there'll be stuff on there with details for that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, you know what? We can leave it at that. What I'll do is I'm going to just put I'll share my screen for one more second here. I'll put my email address up there for everybody. It's murphym@sharpsec.com. I welcome your questions, your comments. If you guys have any, I know sometimes it's hard to ask questions when you got 40 or 50 people. I think it's actually 60 or 70 people on today. So thank you for making the time. And send me a note. Happy to follow up, and we'll get what you need in terms of materials or questions or pricing or whatever it may be. So send me a note, murphym@sharpsec.com, or if you already have my contact info, call me, text me, and I'm happy to talk. I'm plugged in at home. I've got more time than I used to have. So happy to say it. All right, everybody. Thank you for your time. Looking forward to seeing you, everybody out there soon, and stay safe.
Okay, thank you, Mike, for the.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.